for you.
Missing secrets at Los Alamos. Critical computer files disappear at America's top nuclear lab. The investigation goes on tonight. The right to sue your HMO. Another blow to patients at the Supreme Court. Is this really the best medicine? Gas prices going even higher. Tonight, the White House warns the oil companies. In depth, are you working harder but still getting only a few weeks off? The new push for more vacation time by law. And out of the blue, two swimmers, one hungry shark, the fight of their lives.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. It's not been a good year for Los Alamos, the top secret nuclear weapons lab. Those costly wildfires that burned so many homes and threatened the storied New Mexico lab site. And now tonight, federal officials confirm critical hard drive disks are missing from Los Alamos computers. They've been missing for 2 months. NBC's Jim Miklaszewski is at the Pentagon tonight with the latest for us. Jim?
Tom, tonight, a senior U.S. official tells NBC News the secrets missing from Los Alamos are America's plans for nuclear counterterrorism. And if they fall into the wrong hands, it could be devastating. Sources tell NBC News the highly classified nuclear secrets were stored on computer disks and hard drives and were first discovered missing from a Los Alamos vault 2 months ago. That's before a forest fire forced employees to evacuate Los Alamos last month. According to sources, the missing disks contain top-secret data from NEST, the Energy Department's counterterrorism nuclear emergency search team. Essentially, all the secret technical data on how NEST would find, then dismantle a nuclear device planted by terrorists. The missing secrets also reportedly include data on the Russians' nuclear weapons program. The FBI is investigating, but wasn't notified until last week, and so far doesn't have a clue as to the whereabouts of the missing secrets. This is another huge embarrassment for Los Alamos and the Department of Energy, after a former employee, Wen-Ho Lee, was charged with mishandling classified nuclear weapons data. U.S. officials say tonight, at best, this could simply be more sloppy record-keeping at Los Alamos. But at worst, some adversary could now hold America's top secrets to its defense against a nuclear terrorist attack. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC Jim Miklaszewski at the Pentagon tonight. And from the U.S. Supreme Court tonight, a ruling that further restricts patients' rights as they attempt to deal with their HMOs. It is one of the big issues before Congress this year, but until Congress acts, the current rules apply, and the highest court in the land today sided with the managed care companies in a specific and contentious area. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
It's the feature of HMOs that most riles patients, holding back on care to save the HMO money. But the Supreme Court today says it's not grounds for a federal case. Last winter, Cynthia Herdrick argued it should be. She took on her HMO after it decided, as a way to save money, to make her wait 8 days for a test to see why she had such severe abdominal pain. During the wait, her appendix ruptured and she almost died. She sued when she found out the HMO paid doctors a bonus for holding down costs.
In the back of their mind, they're always thinking that, well, if I maybe can save some costs here, that's going to mean more in my bonus check at the end of the year.
But today, the Supreme Court rules unanimously that's no basis for suing. The court says no HMO organization could survive without some incentive connecting physician reward with rationing treatment. Ruling otherwise, the court says, would set off an upheaval, leading, quote, to the elimination of for-profit HMOs. Nearly 160 million Americans get their health care from an HMO, and today the industry says the decision shields it from broader legal attack.
Much to the chagrin of many class action attorneys who were looking for a very different decision to use it as a springboard to file further class action suits.
Today's ruling blocks only lawsuits in federal court, but most states already ban lawsuits against HMOs. Advocates for patients' rights who want Congress to broaden the power to sue say today's ruling makes that even more important.
I think this decision does give managed care organization a license to cut costs at the expense of patients.
But the justices say they can't draw a line between good and bad HMOs without defining what level of medical risk is acceptable. And they say that's not a decision for federal judges. Pete Williams, NBC News at the Supreme Court.
And in another significant decision tonight, the death penalty. The court ruled against a death row inmate who wanted to appeal his case to a federal court because the jury that convicted him didn't know that he could have been sentenced to life without possibility of parole. It was close, a 5-4 decision against the inmate. And tonight, a major new study on the death penalty in America is bound to heat up the already simmering debate on the future of the ultimate punishment. As NBC's Lisa Myers reports now, the study produces surprising facts and raises many troubling questions.
Joseph Green says he's a living example of how badly the death penalty system is broken. He spent 4.5 years on death row, convicted of murder on the basis of a single witness who was mildly retarded, drinking that night, and a football field away at the time of the crime. Finally, last year, a Florida appeals court freed Green, ruling the witness, who first told police the murderer was white, was not competent.
I have nightmares from it right now because I thought one day they would kill me, you know, knowing that I'm 100% innocent, but I would die for something I didn't know nothing about.
And today's study suggests Green's case is not an aberration. Titled A Broken System, it looks at 23 years of death penalty cases and finds a system collapsing under the weight of its own mistakes. The numbers are staggering. Just 5% of almost 5,800 inmates convicted and sentenced to death are actually executed. Most of the time, in more than 2 out of 3 cases, errors at trial are so serious the verdict is overturned. And once a case is retried, the vast majority, 75%, receive a lesser sentence. 7% are found innocent altogether.
The system is better at making mistakes than it is at catching them, and for that reason, one worries that many of these mistakes are not caught and that somebody who is innocent might get executed.
Clifford Bowen came within 17 days of being executed, spent 5 years on death row before the Supreme Court freed him, in part because of prosecutorial misconduct.
They suppressed the exculpatory evidence, that is, the evidence of who the real killer was.
The study blames most mistakes on grossly incompetent defense lawyers and overzealous police and prosecutors. Now even some death penalty supporters, including a former Texas appeals court judge, say it needs fixing.
The death penalty is not working for anybody.
Not the victims?
Not the victims.
Not the accused?
Not the accused.
So you assume that innocent people get executed?
Yes, I do make that assumption, yes.
However, other death penalty advocates say the study shows the system does work. In fact, eventually catches its own mistakes.
The study could not show that even one innocent person in the United States is falsely executed.
Still, this study is likely to fuel demands for more safeguards, the guarantee of competent defense lawyers, and the right to DNA testing, all to prevent the ultimate nightmare, the execution of an innocent man. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, why are gas prices so high, and time out. NBC News in depth. Americans working longer and harder, now a push to make more vacation time mandatory.
You're going to have time for family, for friends, for hobbies, for interests. You're going to have a kinder, gentler, less hostile, less angry nation.
Do American workers deserve more time off? That's tonight's In Depth. And Lifeline, a medical breakthrough that could be life-changing for millions with diabetes.
While Mike was putting up his own for sale sign, someone was helping his neighbors John and Diane with plans to sell their home. As Mike spent Saturday figuring out legal agreements and guessing his home's value, someone was preparing a counteroffer so John could help with the school fundraiser. And while Mike and his wife were reevaluating their asking price for the 3rd time, someone was closing the sale on John and Diane's home. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Do something fun today. Kick back. Eat with your fingers at Red Lobster. Luscious peel and eat shrimp. All you can eat for only $11.99. But hurry, because this mouth-watering offer ends soon.
The world is a beautiful place, but not when your eyes feel dry, gritty, irritated. Protect them with Refresh brand eye drops. Refresh is no ordinary eye drop. First, Refresh relieves dryness. Then Refresh forms a lasting shield of protection that keeps irritation out and moisture in. So get relief and protection with the #1 brand recommended by eye doctors. Refresh. It relieves and protects. And protects and protects.
Why so many days-in hotels out there? So no matter where you're headed, you know you'll always get...
Kiss me?
A warm welcome. Days Inn. There you go.
We noticed tons of surfers just eating fish tacos on the docks.
So we created just a menu based on food that we like.
Kind of like surf food as opposed to Mexican food.
Now that we're growing, the need for that financial partner was real important. Finding somebody who could help us to fulfill our dreams down the road. That's where Merrill Lynch has stepped up.
They were willing to take a chance with us. They saw past the shorts and t-shirts. Oh, we're still keeping to the core. We're still surfing.
We're in the groove.
Dateline Monday. Cars that belong on the junk heap. Some dealers are selling them.
They have no ethics. They have no morals.
Totaled in wrecks, badly damaged. You could be driving one.
They're cutting corners, sacrificing the safety of the vehicle.
A hidden camera investigation.
I stand behind my body work.
Dateline NBC tonight.
How come Sheriff John Lee?
NBC News in depth tonight. 2 annual rites of summer, taking time off, and those rising gas prices. Today, officials of the Environmental Protection Agency met with oil refiners and asked for a simple explanation. Why did gas prices take a sudden jump, especially in the Midwest? It's happening just as the summer driving season is about to get underway. It's expected that almost 122 million adults plan to travel 100 miles or more this summer, 65% of them by motor vehicle. But will soaring gas prices put a crimp in those vacation plans? We begin tonight's in-depth reporting with NBC's George Lewis.
Anger at the gas pumps.
I think that they're just outrageous and they keep going up.
People filling up today in Chicago at prices ranging from $2.36 a gallon for regular to over $2.50 for premium.
I think it's treacherous. It is treacherous that we're paying $2.50 per gallon of gas.
I think it's ridiculous how much money we're paying for gas right now. The increase that's been happening the last couple of months is amazing.
Chicago cabbie Guillaume Sandozi.
Before I used to put $25 worth of gas every day, at the end of the day, but now I have to put in at least $36 to $40 worth of gas. That's what, $15 a day, which comes out to around $450 a month.
And in Washington, the EPA meeting with oil refiners. The question, are they gouging the customers?
We see no good explanation as to why these differential prices exist in the Midwest, and particularly in Milwaukee and Chicago.
The oil companies claim higher prices are due to federal laws that require cleaner burning gasoline in major metropolitan areas. But that doesn't explain the big price difference between, say, Los Angeles, where clean burning gasoline goes for about $1.60 a gallon, and Chicago, where it's 70-some cents a gallon more expensive. The oil companies claim it's a basic problem of supply and demand.
The reason why the Midwest is seeing such high prices is that area was not particularly ready to meet the new requirements for reformulated gasoline.
But critics say the industry had plenty of time to get ready for the switch over to cleaner gasoline. So now the government investigates as motorists put up with the highest gas prices in a decade, with the big summer driving season just ahead. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Then there's the growing campaign to make those summer vacations longer, a push to give overworked, stressed-out Americans more time off. NBC's Jim Avila continues tonight's in-depth reporting.
It's called the American work ethic, and some say it could be killing us. The average American male at the office 50 hours a week, the average female 42 hours.
It was starting to feel like my whole existence was based around work.
But not anymore. Irene Economou, a Hewlett-Packard executive, now takes regular middle-of-the-week vacation days to prevent burnout. Today, it's calligraphy class.
I feel a lot better. I think physically and mentally, I'm a lot better.
Escape magazine, which promotes leisure time, says workers should take more time off, mounting a petition drive to make 3 weeks plus holidays mandatory.
I think we're actually in danger of having productivity loss because people are burned out.
Europe has the idea. Ever wonder why almost every American tourist spot seems to be filled with foreign tourists? One reason, Europeans have 2 weeks more vacation than Americans. Experts say half of American workers now report stress disorders. Consultant Pam Amundsen recommends the European work ethic.
We walk faster, we work longer, we work harder, and in Europe it was like almost running into a brick wall and having to stop and just slow down a little.
In fact, all of Europe takes nearly a month off per year. From Sweden at 32 days, Spain, Denmark, Austria, and France 30 days, Japan 25 days. The Swiss take 20 days, Germans 18. And here in the United States, we vacation the least, 16 days a year. Germany's Monica and Norbert Maurer taking some of their month off in the Bavarian Alps this weekend.
Germans have a lot of vacation because when they come back, they are more relaxed in the job.
But are they more productive? Not as a nation. Americans are the most productive in the world, output growing by nearly 5% here, higher than any European country.
Those lengthy European vacations really clip their productivity.
Gail Adcock disagrees. Her company offers 4 weeks a year from the first day.
You can only work for a certain amount of time at high speed without some downtime.
In fact, Adcock's company, SAS Institute, has a very low 4% turnover rate and fewer manufacturing mistakes. Experts say more time off can be efficient.
So there's a certain point in time where people start burning out, and then their mind is not on the work.
The American work ethic, boosting the economy, but some say stressing its workforce, badly in need of a day off. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
Still ahead tonight, every beachgoer's worst nightmare, a shark attack, and the men who live to tell about it.
I see lots of people with allergies, but the ones with multi-symptom nasal allergies, they're suffering from it all. The sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. For that kind of allergy, I prescribe multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
The forces of nature are waging a war, and the target is your deck. But Thompson's will stop them, because when others fail, Thompson succeeds, protecting your deck like no other, guaranteed. Thompson's Wood Protector. It never takes a day off.
If someone in your family's had a heart attack, you know it can tear your family apart. But there's something you can do to help prevent heart attacks. There's Ecotrin. Ecotrin is safety-coated aspirin. Taken regularly, it can help keep your blood from clotting, to keep it flowing. No wonder cardiologists now recommend Ecotrin more than any other brand. Aspirin is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor first. Ecotrin, helping your heart beat the odds.
I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy for the drive-thru. And I'm too sexy for my car seat. Too sexy for the groceries. Too sexy for the dry cleaning. Introducing the newly updated Camry. So stylish it could go to your head. I'm too sexy for the slow lane. Too sexy for the neighbors. Too sexy for the car wash. Too sexy.
This one? Not perfect. Oh, mate. This'll do.
In the Outback, we take our food and our fun blooming seriously. And we never get too much of either one.
So, how was it?
Not bad.
Outback Steakhouse.
Working on the Today Show sure is great.
And wasn't our boss incredibly clever to come up with tomorrow morning's segment?
The Art of Sucking Up.
Only on Today.
Women, aging, and sex. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Fresh off a big win in the Microsoft antitrust case, the government is going after 2 more big companies tonight, MasterCard and Visa. Justice Department lawyers argue today the 2 dominant credit card companies broke antitrust laws by blocking banks from doing business with smaller card companies, such as American Express and Discover. Lawyers for MasterCard said the company operates in a very competitive environment. He called the charges outrageous. On Wall Street today, a couple of warnings about earnings in the retail and high technology sectors sent stocks down. As a result, the Dow was off just under 50 points. NASDAQ lost 107 points on the day, or almost. Now, Lifeline. A new warning from the World Health Organization that overuse of antibiotics is leading to a more resistant strain of bacteria in countries rich and poor. That means common problems like ear and throat infections are becoming impossible to treat in some areas. The group is urging better education on using antibiotics safely. There is some good news tonight for those who suffer from the most severe form of diabetes, known as type 1. It's usually diagnosed in childhood, almost always requiring insulin shots, sometimes several a day. But now, a breakthrough treatment that could mean a better quality of life for millions. Here's NBC's chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
Mariana Krolopakornik, one of the first to benefit from an amazing breakthrough in treating diabetes, a transplant that actually eliminates the need for insulin shots. Before the transplant 13 months ago, she could not drive a car because of the constant danger she might slip into a coma.
It's meant the world to me. It's a totally life-altering experience. I'm a totally different person than I was before.
A 30-year-old school teacher in Canada, Mariana needed to test a sample of her own blood for sugar levels and inject herself with insulin several times a day, ever since she was diagnosed with type 1 or juvenile diabetes at age 11.
It was a schedule ruled by insulin.
And it wasn't just the injections. Like many diabetics, she worried about the comas, along with an increased risk for blindness, heart disease, loss of limbs, and kidney failure. But now that is over. Dr. James Shapiro of the University of Alberta heads the team that has now carried out 10 transplants, with every patient doing as well as Mariana.
None of us expect a 100% success in any medical breakthrough, but there's no question to date that's what we've experienced.
How does it work? Type 1 diabetes occurs when the body's immune system destroys cells in the pancreas called islets that make the hormone insulin necessary for the body to use sugar. The Canadian researchers take islet cells from cadaver donors and then, in a simple procedure requiring only local anesthesia, inject them into the patient's liver. Doctors have been trying this for decades, but the Canadians found just the right techniques, including the medicines to prevent rejection. The drawback with the transplants? It takes 1 or 2 cadavers to supply enough cells for each patient, so there will never be enough donors for the 1 million type 1 diabetics in the United States. One possible solution. At the University of California, San Diego, researchers working with mice now grow unlimited supplies of islet cells in the laboratory. Within 2 years, they hope to try the technique with human cells. If it works, it could mean enough cells for everyone who could benefit from a transplant.
Anybody in the world, the millions and tens of millions of people throughout the world with insulin-dependent diabetes could be cured.
Curing diabetes? With the sensational results for Mariana and the other patients who got the transplants, a fantastic dream, much closer to reality. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
I'll be right back with the questions that some beachgoers are asking tonight after a shark attack. Is it now safe to go back into the water?
I am Muriel Romeo. Hi, this is Betsy. This is my buddy. Betsy and I help the customer by lowering our prices. Even way up here, the prices are low. Betsy and I put on a lot of miles every year. If people don't like to save money, then they're just lying. If you want to find the lowest price guaranteed, just follow me. If you find a lower price somewhere else, I'd like to know about it.
The Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
In hospital pharmacies, they dispense medicines that work fast. For heartburn, that's 1 minute Malox.
It goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes.
Hospital pharmacies rely on Malox. Shouldn't you?
Count on 1 minute Malox.
Man, I'm hungry.
What, $1 for a sliver of raw fish?
It's sushi.
Sushi? Where I'm from, we call that stuff bait.
What else can you get for just $1?
Well, I can get a 20-minute phone call for only 99 cents.
Quit kidding around.
No, it's true. Dial 10-10-220. It's just 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes.
And just 7 cents a minute after that.
And get this, there's no monthly fee.
10-10-220 really is a great deal.
We know. Hey, you forgot to cook this.
Dial 10-10-220.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Tahoe. Now offering a third row of seats that's light and easier to handle than anything else out there. It's nowhere near anything. The new Chevy Tahoe. Like a rock.
Why so many days-in hotels worldwide? Because you might want to go to London someday. And we can't be sure.
England!
Which one? Days in. There you go.
Jolly good.
So in conclusion, I'd like to thank you, shareholders, for taking the time to attend...
Excuse me.
Yes.
This is Mr. Matambo. Looking at your annual report, page 16. Can you explain the implications of floating your long-term debt in a potentially inflationary economy?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm...
Do you know anything about inventory valuation?
We created a smarter kind of investor.
Just ahead at 6, school's out and it's time for repairs. But can your child's school get the maintenance it needs without enough money or manpower? Also tonight, at the height of the summer vacation season, a swimmer talks about coming face to face with a shark off the Gulf Coast. Join us for the scene at 6, just minutes from now.
In the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Alabama tonight, swimmers are going back into the water, but no doubt they're keeping a careful watch on what may be swimming with them. Over the weekend, 2 Alabama men were attacked by a huge shark not far from shore. They lived to tell the tale. Here's NBC's Bob Fall.
Swimming near Gulf Shores, Alabama, in just 6 feet of water, Richard Watley is chased by a 500-pound bull shark, which has just maimed a fellow swimmer.
And I looked down, and all I seen was this gigantic head. And anyway, those eyes partially closed, and that mouth opened up, so he was getting ready to take a little bite.
In the first shark attack in Alabama in 25 years, Watley is bitten up and down his right side. A quirk? The next day in waters off Padre Island, Texas, a shark grabs the foot of a teenage swimmer. None of this comes as a surprise to Florida surfer Valerie Zavins.
I had a shark come at me twice, and that scared the living daylights out of me.
In fact, shark attacks against humans are extremely rare. Every year, say the experts, more people killed by snakes, wasps, and bees than by sharks. Worldwide, in the last 3 years, the number of fatalities from shark bites has gone down 67%.
You're actually more likely to be bit by another human if you go to New York City than you are to be bit by a shark in the waters.
Shark! Shark in the water, remember? 25 years ago, when the entire country was scared out of its summertime wits. A quarter of a century later, not only is there no hysteria, one of Florida's hottest attractions actually lets tourists go into the water with sharks and watch them feed. Still, could warmer temperatures be changing sharks' feeding patterns, driving them closer to land and to swimmers? Not necessarily.
I don't think that there's enough evidence to draw concrete conclusions about the effects of weather on shark attacks.
Days later, the waters where Watley swam are once again full of swimmers.
Say, hey, I'm shark bait.
For Richard Watley, though, it's not exactly a laughing matter.
I'm talking about that mouth with those teeth coming at you, and it was there, it was a matter of, well, at this second, I'm alive, but how long is it going to be before he gets me?
Don't tell him sharks are losing their bite. Bob Fall, NBC News, Washington.
And to correct the record, some tourists have gotten nicked in New York, but none have been bitten so far as we know in recent years. That's Nightly News for Monday. Dateline tonight at 8, 7 Central Time. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Next on the scene at 6, state lawmakers are talking taxes.
And in fact, they're headed back up the hill to the House and Senate chambers at this moment to take an historic vote on a state income tax. The story coming up.
Meanwhile, outside, hundreds of voters made their feelings known, honking horns and carrying signs against an income tax.
Plus, more schools and more kids means more maintenance, but there's not enough workers or money to go around. That story in a live report from the country music migration known as fanfare next.
You're watching Channel 4 News.
with Demetria Kalatimos and Dan